Good evening, everyone. It's Molly the Kush RN, your cannabis community correspondent and host of Conversations with Kush podcast. I'm sitting down at the Zen Arcade inside Hook and Ladder. Smoking on the Runway 5 is going on. I have the pleasure of Bubba Startz joining me from the Scene Projects podcast. Bubba, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. This is incredible.
Yeah. Where are you from?
South Dakota.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned that.
Yep.
Yeah. How is that? They don't have cannabis there.
We have medical program now.
Okay.
You know, no recreational, but we have a pretty good medical program that I've been proud of. A lot of friends in the industry. Obviously, always an uphill battle to get it and then to keep it as well. So we pray a lot for a continued kind of lessening of the grip of authority on it, right? And it's a constant battle.
The prayer needs to turn into lobbying and getting down to the legislators' offices when they're in session.
Yeah.
So that's how we impact that.
And there's just not a lot of liberal-minded individuals that are in politics in South Dakota. It is a very red state through and through.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're fighting a large uphill battle. Hemp does very well, though. We're the #1 producer of industrial hemp in the world.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool to know that there's a lot of work on that side that's being done. Shout out to some great companies. Dakota Hemp, the South Dakota Industrial Hemp Association, does a lot to bring awareness. And I think that's what's lacking a little bit in the marijuana field and in the medical and recreational side, is that there's not as many advocates for it that are out there, because most people who advocate for it were already in the business, whether they were growing or selling or whatever.
Yeah.
So it kind of changes its in that way, where it's hard to find people to lobby that don't have skin in the game, right?
What about industrial uses of hemp? Do they do a lot of that in South Dakota?
So we grow a lot, and now we're working on building the processing facilities. I know of several that are throughout the state that are breaking it down into the herd and it actual usable. A lot of animal bedding right now. And a lot of it going towards, a very small bit of it going to clothing and those different products that it has. What I'm excited about with the hemp industry is probably the plastic side, right? Once we figure out how to get the plastics and the press boarding that you can make out of these things, it's just that we're so far behind in the industry with where we should be. If it would have been decriminalized, then it wouldn't have been such an uphill battle with it. We could have got started 25, 30 years ago.
Well, it's still in danger. Like, it's in serious danger, actually, right now. People need to be calling their legislators and telling them to take that ban on hemp out of there. Like, that is not good for patients. Patients need minor cannabinoids. It's not a good deal. So
no.
Yeah, and they're trying to leverage it along with all of the other bullshit that's going on that we won't talk about. But
yeah. I feel you every step of the way, and it's been a long uphill battle. I'm surprised that South Dakota has a medical program. To be honest, I don't know that we would ever. I don't know that we would ever get to there. But it's several years old now, and I think once things like that are in place, it's very hard to pull back on that. So getting it in, and then they just try to overregulate it to the point where nobody wants to use it, right? And that's kind of what we're fighting against now.
Have you accessed the medical program at all?
Yes, I have.
Okay, what's it like?
So you can buy at the dispensaries. You can, provide, I think it's a $25 application fee for providing to grow your own. So relatively affordable to grow your own, and a pretty simple process.
How many plants can you have?
I think 6 and flowering, right?
Nice.
So it's a considerable amount when you think about how well some of these people can grow pot.
Sure.
Because you can turn that over, as we know, every 60, 90 days or, so that's quite a bit at the end of the day for personal use.
Sure.
So I think it's pretty fair. Obviously, there's people that want more, but our dispensary programs, I think, are really strong. People like Dakota Green, some good friends of mine, I've been out on their farm, and they focus on all organic and really focusing on the flavor, the terpenes, and bringing a solid product. They have an outdoor grow and an indoor grow, and it's really great stuff. So if you're checking out cannabis in South Dakota as patients, make sure you're smoking Dakota Green.
What about the other types of products, though? Do they have products that are both really low dose and high dose for like the variety of
I think it's a
see?
pretty large variety of products that are available in the dispensaries as whole, from your topicals to some low dosage to just CBD products as well.
Perfect.
So it's all represented, and it's not like some of the shops that I've seen in California or Colorado that I've been to in the past. I've traveled through a lot of these areas. I actually did 2 years in prison for marijuana, so I have a pretty storied history with the plant myself and the prohibition of said plant. So, I mean, 2 years after I got out of prison, it became legal to do medically, right? I could go and get a license for it and go buy it at the store. It's kind of a trip when you tend to think of, I lost 2 years of my life to that.
Right, yeah.
If I would have had access that was legal, I would have never been, selling it or doing anything, because it would have been too easy to just go get it legally.
Yeah, restorative justice is definitely something that needs to be talked about all the time when cannabis is brought up. Like, how are we really helping to change the communities of the people who are affected by the war on drugs? How are we giving people lives back? Are we allowing them, especially in Minnesota now, like if you had a criminal past with cannabis, you moved up the line to get a license. So, those types of things need to be in place when people are making their programs, and they are, but I think some of it got botched.
Yeah.
But, I'm glad that you...
hopefully in our time we'll have a federal ruling on this, and to be able to say goodbye to all of the regulation and the overstepping that we've seen. Yes,
just
it's nice that
plant.
we have just free the plant.
Yeah,
come on now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel you. But
point.
I think on the awareness side, I think events like this that we had, Smoking on the Runway, was a great example of that, bringing different communities together, showing that pot isn't just about, getting high in your basement, right? I think there's so many stigmas left to break, especially in rural places like I'm from, right? I'm from rural South Dakota. There's not a lot of people that, traditionally use the plant because of the legalities of it for so long. And, who wants to break the law? Let's be honest. None of us really want to. So without a program, you're kind of forcing people to do that. And I don't think that it's right.
Yeah, definitely. And even when you have programs that are like up and coming, you still, you have to be able to allow people access. You can't price them out.
Right.
So that's another thing too.
Right. And the license, to get your license in South Dakota, I want to say is around $300 a year, plus a doctor's visit, right? So you're looking at like maybe possibly $400 or $500 out of pocket for some of these people.
Sure.
I have a really good chiropractor. That's probably the cheapest route that I've found to it. Go in for an adjustment and have them, identify something, and that worked for at least our program.
Yeah.
But trying to visit your medical, and then getting medical doctors to just prescribe it too. I think it's such a shame that people can't just go to their primary physicians and to get a recommendation. It just doesn't make sense.
Do you think your doctor knows about cannabis?
I don't go to the doctor enough to know. I think there's a younger generation of doctors that know of the positive, although they're not very, extremely educated in the field, that they at least know that, yes, it does have some medical benefits to it, and a lot of medical benefits to it, and enough for you to be comfortable making a recommendation, or at least talking about it with your patients.
Yeah.
To if you're not going to make it a prescription, then give them the option and tell them that, hey, have you thought about this? I think that goes a long ways too.
Yeah, nice. Excellent. Well, it's been really nice talking to you.
Yeah, I know you're at the end of your day. I'm glad I could be one more podcast.
I'm losing it, so thank you.
I understand.
You definitely brought the energy for me.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Well, we're trying to get you out the door now. That's all that's left to do.
Let's do, where can people find you?
So you can find me at thesceneprojects.com. That's where our podcasts, many podcasts are hosted. We have a big network there.
Awesome.
We're the 2024 Content Creator of the Year for the Midwest Country Music Organization. So we focus a lot on music, but a lot of stuff that's cannabis related or really small business related.
Okay.
I'm a huge proponent of the arts in all forms, so it's not just limited to music, although that is our main focus.
Awesome.
So thank you so much for having me. This was a lot of fun.
I'm glad you came. So this is good. So that's it for this episode of Conversations with Kush podcast. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Peace.